Hey guys, it's Heidi. Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, Carlo. How I met Carlo. I saw him for the first time outside the post office, which I did mention on the previous video. And when Mom and I came out of church, and then he often used to offer me a lift, and I always said no. And then I did take a lift with him when my two colleagues were with me. And then he landed up at my house with a plate of fish. And yeah, I don't think I mentioned anything else after that. Anyway, so I was praying for a companion. And I said, Lord, I chose my first husband, and that was, yeah, it was not good. Will you please choose my next husband for me? And I had this long shopping list. He mustn't be lazy, he must have his own house, his own car, and I don't know what else. But there was this long shopping list that I used to repeat every morning and every night to the Lord. And one day, God said to me, stop. The man is out there. He's waiting for you. You're the one that needs to change. Okay, what must change about me? Well, first and foremost, my attitude needed to change. Little did I know that I'd actually seen my husband without realizing I was going to be married to that guy. And Carla often used to stop and offer me a lift. And then I decided one day I was going to get rid of this man once and for all, because I'm tired of him pestering me for a lift. To give me a lift home or to work or wherever I was going, because I used to walk everywhere. And I was very fit then, very fit. So I thought one day, you know what, I will go and have dinner with a man. I was actually finished work. Yeah, let's just backtrack a little bit. I'd finished work. I went home and I changed out of my uniform, and I decided to take a walk to the beach because, yeah, it was still nice. So I went to the beach, decided just to walk to go and look and see. But I had seen Carlo go past with a car. So I thought, let me see if I can find this guy and see where is he going and what. You must remember, he's in the car and I'm walking. So I thought, well, if I see him, I see him. If I don't, I don't. So I changed quickly and I walked to the beach. And just before I got to the beach, I saw his car had gone down somewhere, and he was talking to some guy he was talking to. So I walked past, pretended I didn't see the guy. I thought, well, I'm not going to make too much of a fuss here. And then I heard his car come up and stop and was idling. And I thought, now what do? Do I just carry on walking and ignore the guy? Or actually turn around and wave at him? So I turned around and I looked at him and I waved. I thought, well, hello. And then he decided to come and talk to me. And then he once again offered me dinner. So I thought, this time I'm going to take the dinner. And I'm going to tell him the truth about myself. And then he will get such a fright that he will want nothing more to do with me, and problem solved. Done. Yeah, right. So I agreed to go and have dinner the following night with him. He was going to cook it, which was a surprise. I thought, well, a man cooking for me. Okay. So he came and he picked me up at whatever time it was. And yeah. Now, I have since learned to eat rice and potatoes together on the plate. Before then, I used to, if I had rice, then I wouldn't have potatoes. And if there were potatoes, I wouldn't eat the rice. So, two starches. So I just believe in having one starch on your plate. So Carlo had cooked, he made rice, cooked in wine. Now, even in my drinking days, I never drank wine. I didn't like the taste of it and never drank it. I used to drink, yeah, I used to drink very heavily at one stage. But I used to drink cane and brandy, and my favorite was Coca Rica. That was my favorite drink. Yeah, okay, let's not think about that right now. So he cooked the rice and wine. He bought a leg of pork. Now, with the exception of ham and bacon, I generally don't eat pork. I don't eat pork chops. Don't buy pork goulash and a leg of pork. Mm-mm. I only eat that at someone else's house. If someone else is cooking and that's what they've cooked, then I'll eat it. But I won't buy it for myself. As I say, with the exception of bacon and ham. Those two I would. And he made this and it was very nice. And he cooked with his rice cooked in wine. It tasted fine. I think he was trying to make risotto or something. I don't know what he was trying to make. But in any case, I said, no, it's fine. We will eat it. He was a bit upset because it didn't taste good. I said, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll eat it. And he'd set the table, plate, knife, fork. And I see these 2 wine glasses on the table. So I'm thinking, oh dear. And a bottle of wine. Grünberger or something. I don't know. It was a round green bottle. A round fat thing like it with, yeah. Anyway, I looked at the glasses and I saw, okay, they're small glasses, so this is good. And halfway through dinner, well, let's get back to the wine story. I thought, how am I going to drink this wine? Because God has delivered me from alcohol. And now I've been presented a glass of wine. So I thought, Lord, help me to drink this wine. It's a small glass. Just help me to drink it and it should be fine because I must just get my fork with food, take a sip of wine, and then quickly put the food in my mouth and, yeah, then I won't taste this horrible stuff. And when he came to pour a second glass for me, I said, no, I've had 1 glass is enough. Thank you. So I do not eat rice and potatoes together on the same dish. I've since learned to do that. I mean, we've been through some very hard times and we've had to have rice as staple and a little bit of other stuff which included potatoes. So I've learned to eat it. But at that time, did not eat rice and potatoes, same dish. The rice was cooked in wine. I was served a glass of wine. And he cooked pork. Anyway, it was nice. The food was good. The potatoes were fine. Pork was nice. Anyway, and stop with the anyway. Halfway through dinner, I looked up at Carlo and as clear as day, God said to me, that is your husband sitting there across the table from you. People, I nearly choked on my food. I thought, Lord, this man's old. But never mind, if he's your choice, I will take him. No, you must not. I couldn't say anything to Carla. I couldn't very well say, hey, excuse me. I mean, I know this is our first dinner together, but you do realize we're going to get married. That, I think, would have scared the man away. To give you some idea of why I just about choked on my food. This was our wedding day. Okay. That's me. That's my husband. Huh? I was 30 years old and my husband was 60. A 30-year gap. I married a man twice my age. And also, he was older than both my parents. So I kind of freaked out. I thought, Lord, I've got to now marry this old man. So, yeah. Here's another picture. The chapel where we got married. It's beautiful. I can't show you them all. Okay, that one you've seen. That one there. That one you've seen. And that was a blessing. Which was nice. It was a beautiful chapel that we had. I can't show you that. That's too white. I'm not too sure if you can see the inside of the chapel there. It's seated about 45 people. Yeah. Sorry guys, I've got to close that up. And guys, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to just go and see where the dogs were. Okay, that's the back of the people, so it should be fine. Over here, we were cutting the cake, and we couldn't realize why we couldn't cut the cake. So let me see if I can get a bit closer. Let me just light this on them. Okay, there you can see there. The plastic thing holding the top tier of the cake up was quite large, and we had put the knife on top of the plastic thing. And that is why we couldn't cut the cake. That's the outside of the chapel. It was in my spiritual mother's garden. All the flowers and the dress and everything came from her. I was very pleased about that. That was in Mary's garden. And there you can see the cake nicely. Yeah, my friend from Grabouw, she phoned me up and said that she'd like to make my wedding cake for me. So I thought, well, that's very nice, and she wanted to know what I wanted. So I said to her, blue and white square cake, 2 tiers, and a fruit cake. Because a fruit cake is generally a wedding cake, but it reminds me of my family. Some are nutty, some are soaked in alcohol, some are sweet, some are crunchy, some... you get the idea. Anyway, so of course this is my husband when he was fishing. Yeah. Anyway, so that was how I met Carlo and how I knew that I was going to get married to the guy. Yeah, so God had organized this entire wedding because neither Carlo nor I had money. And when the ladies, Carlo said to me one day, he said, something's wrong. So I looked at him and I said, what do you mean something's wrong? He says he doesn't understand because the fishing, one day he will go and he'll do a fantastic catch and he'll make really good money. And then the next 1-2 days he goes, he'll lose all that money he'd made on the previous catch because they'll go and they'll catch nothing or very little. Now, Carlo had this, if they went out and they had a terrible day, whatever fish the fishermen caught, their own fish, because they used to mark the fish by cutting the fin. So that one would have the top fin cut, the other one have the bottom fin cut, and the other one have two fins cut and what have you. And that's how they could tell who was who there, whose fish belonged to who. And if they did a bad day, then what Carlo would do, he would just tell the people, listen, you know what, take your fish home. So, because this is a terrible day, take your fish home, at least you guys get to eat fish. Which I thought it was very nice of Carlo to do that. And also he was one of the skippers that paid the most to his workers. Yeah. So how did I get onto the fishing? And he says that one day we do good and the next 2-3 days we do bad. There's something wrong. Now we're both standing in the kitchen. And I looked at him and I thought, yeah, of course we're doing something wrong. We're living in sin. We're living as man and wife and we're not married. But I couldn't tell this man this. And I knew exactly the person that had no problem telling Carlo this, and that was my spiritual father. And, well, I should say my spiritual mother's husband. Yeah, Uncle Willie. So I said, you know what? Uncle Willie will be able to tell us, because we were going to Bible study, we were going to church and all this. So, and of course, I phoned Uncle Willie up and I said, listen, Carlo and I were having a chat and he says something's wrong because we're doing something wrong because he does good fishing and then the next day or 2 or 3, terrible. So he says, I can tell you one thing off the top of my head. I said, yes, don't worry about telling me that. I already know that. But I can't tell Carlo that. He says, I can. Give him the phone. Now I'm listening to Carlos side of the conversation. And he's trying to tell Uncle Willie, yes, we're going to, but we've got to make money first and we've got to get things organized. And he was coming up with every excuse under the sun. Anyway. So I just stood there because I know Uncle Willie. And I thought, well, Uncle Willie's giving it to you straight. He had no qualms about nothing. So Carlo puts the phone down. He looks at me. He says, we're getting married. So I looked at him and I said, okay, cool. I mean, I don't know what it is with me and marriage. So I said, well, okay, cool. And I looked at him and I thought, well, where is this one knee story? And wouldn't you like to ask me if I'd actually like to get married? None of that. He just put the phone down and he said, we're getting married. Finished. So I thought, okay, cool. Anyway, a month later, we were married. And when the ladies from church found out we were getting married, they all pitched in. Auntie Mary, her and Uncle Willie, they provided for my wedding dress and my shoes and stockings and all that. And the flowers, and my other friend did the cake. And the chapel was, at that time, 200 rand to hire the chapel. And I always wanted to get married in a chapel, except both my weddings. No, my first wedding was, that's another story. Let's not talk about that one right now. And then the Pastor Noel, that married us, ironically married my sister as well, and her husband. Yeah, we both got married on the same day, 5 years apart. And yeah, so she will never forget my wedding anniversary, and I'll never forget hers. And the people across the road also got married on that day. Yeah, so our wedding gifts, there were pizza plates and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people gave money. So, of course, all the money I gave to Carla. I said, well, just, this will go. And the money covered the chapel, covered the hall where we were going to have the reception. It covered the grape juice because I wouldn't have alcohol at my wedding. And yeah, because after I moved in, no, it was at the dinner. I said to Carla, when I said one glass is enough, and we got talking afterwards, we had coffee and what have you. I actually told him, I said, I don't drink wine. I don't drink at all. So he said, you should have said something. I thought, well, that's kind of being rude. You just go with it. So he was happy about that. Yeah, so now you know I almost choked on my food when God showed me who my husband was. And God also provided everything that we needed. My hair was paid for, and done by some guy. And the makeup and nails and all that stuff. And God had just provided everything. And when Carlo had made the decision, when he put the phone down and he said to me, he said, we're getting married. The next day he went fishing. And he just started catching good fish, very good fish. They did very good catches. And yeah. So that is how I met Carlo and how we got married. And a very good friend of mine, after my husband had went home to be with the Lord, she painted a painting for me. I gave her a couple, I think it was 3 photos or something. And I said to her, I like all 3 photographs, but you paint the one that you feel would make the better painting. So I just want to show you that. Hold on. So there we go. I'm looking at an angle, so I hope you guys can see. That is my husband. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. I see I've waffled on for over 24 minutes. Lots and lots of love. Bye.